All right, welcome back to WMMA Now with your host Chuck Stevenson, coming at you with a fight review. So we're going to Singapore for ONE Championship Winter Warriors. We're going to the co-main event in the ONE Atomweight 115-pound division. Stamp Fairtex coming in at 7-1, taking on Ritu Phogat, also coming in at 7-1. And this fight was very special because it was the final, the granddaddy of the Atomweight Grand Prix. Been waiting over a year for this tournament to finally get settled, and this fight settled it all. And a bonus for at least in ONE Championship size, I would imagine, is that it was between two homegrown ONE Championship fighters. So let's go ahead and get into it. So first round, Ritu comes out, immediately tried to close, but she got rebuffed by Stamp. Stamp threw a couple strikes, pushed her out, and just, kept her out, shucked her off basically. And then there was honestly a lengthy feeling out process followed. Now Ritu tried a single leg attempt, but she drove Stamp to the fence. But Stamp defended well. She had really nice balance with her hips, and she was able to throw some nice knees and elbows even when she was, the one with her back to the fence there. Now Ritu changed it up from the single, changed it up to the double. Finally got Stamp to the ground, but Stamp, boom, shucked herself to the cage and walked right up the side of the cage to stand right back up, like almost probably less than 3 seconds on the ground. Now, Ritu stayed on her. She lifted Stamp up to try to slam her down, but Stamp very smartly clamped on a guillotine. And Ritu was not about to put her down while she was in the guillotine. So she ended up basically putting her back down. Then we had some more dirty boxing from both against the cage. Ritu kept trying for that takedown. Just would not give up going for the takedown, but was unsuccessful to end the round. Now the second round, Ritu again came out, immediately tried to close, but Stamp backed her off with some more strikes. Now Ritu feinted, was throwing up some feints. You could tell she was like feinting for the takedown, trying to throw Stamp off of her game, and went for a low single and got it. Now Stamp tries to shrimp out around the back, but adjusted, caught Ritu in a triangle, and I'll tell you what, it was deep. That triangle was deep. Ritu tried to roll out of the triangle and tried to get out the back, but Stamp converted it straight away into an armbar, extended it. Ritu rolled over, but the armbar was too deep, and Ritu was forced to tap. So your winner and new Atomweight Grand Prix champion, Stamp Fairtex via submission due to armbar, 2 minutes, 14 seconds of the second round. Man, I'll tell you what, that was some finish. I had picked Stamp to win, but via decision. Looking back on it now, I wish I had said submission because the signs were there that Ritu was vulnerable to submissions. I just didn't give Stamp enough credit with her BJJ to get that submission. But I'll tell you what, this Grand Prix needed that capstone, because the entire Grand Prix up to this point had been nothing but decisions. So you had 4 decisions, then 2 decisions, and then finally you get capped off with a submission finish. Really nice. Just all around nice. Great finish. Got to give it to Stamp. Picked it up. Just really nice finish. And a nice way, like I said, to cap off the Grand Prix with the finish after 6 decisions. Like I said, the Grand Prix is finally over. A year after it was first announced. I am going to work on, I did a road to the finals. I am going to work on something now that the final is over, just reviewing it as a whole. But it's nice that it's over. And we have a new title fight set. And I'll tell you what, I give Stamp a much better chance against Angela Lee than I would have before this Grand Prix started. If you would ask me before the Grand Prix started, do I think Stamp Fairtex beats Angela Lee? I'd have said hell no. Hell no. Do I give her a good chance against her now? Yes. Would I pick her? I'd have to really think about it. But I definitely give her a better chance now than I did against Angela before this Grand Prix. And, the final note I have written down here is that this division right now is absolutely on fire. We've got so many good fighters. We've got so many good matchups that we can make after this Grand Prix. We have a title challenger. We've got young fighters on the come up. We've got some crafty veterans in there. This ONE championship, 115-pound division is absolutely on fire. I mean, you've got Angela, you've got Stamp, you've got Denise Sambawanga, you've got Sahi Ham, you've got Ritu Phogat, you've got Itsuki Hirata, you've got Mung Bo, you've got Lin Hun Jin, you've got Priscilla Hurtati Lambangail, you have, what's the Malaysian girl's name? Jian Radzuan. You've got B. Nguyen, who might not ever be a title contender, but is always there for an exciting fight. This division right now, it has been good in the past, but right now, it is at its absolute peak. I'm so excited to see what next year brings for this division. And you've got Angela's little sister, Victoria, who's making her way through it now as well. So this division is on fire. Let's talk about things to work on. First, Stamp. Keep working on the takedown defense. The more she works on their takedown defense, the more confident she'll be with her striking. And she's already confident with her striking. Her striking is already phenomenal. But the more she works on her takedown defense, the more freely she'll be able to throw her strikes. Also, going against Angela Lee, she's really going to want to work on her takedown defense because Angela is just like Ritu. She might be willing to work on the feet a little bit more than Ritu is, but Angela is going to want to take it down to the ground eventually, and I still don't think Stamp wants to mess with her on the ground. For Ritu Phogat, she now needs to make submission defense her number one priority. Her past three opponents now, including Stamp, so that's 3 straight opponents, were able to trap her in submissions. So she needs to make that her number one priority. So you've had 3 opponents that trap you in submissions and one actually gets the finish. She's got serious submission vulnerabilities. And that's not uncommon for wrestlers that make the transition to MMA. They're often very vulnerable at first to submissions because they're simply not used to it. So she needs to make that her number one priority. Her number one priority used to be working on her striking. But now it needs to be her submission defense. She still needs to work on her striking, don't get me wrong. But now her number one priority absolutely needs to be her submission defense. For fights to make, sticking with Ritu Phogat, I had to think about this one for a while. I had to go on ONE Championship's annoying website and look through their roster, which is absolutely annoying, to try to find fighters in a specific division because they don't organize it like that. But I went on there and I looked through a list of possible opponents for Ritu Phogat. And I think I came to one. Bozena Antoniar. She hasn't fought in a while. But she's primarily a boxer. Not so savvy with the submissions. Ritu Phogat. If I'm ONE Championship, Ritu Phogat needs a confidence builder. Bozena Antoniar has the striking. Not so great on the ground. That is the type of confidence builder that the matchmakers are going to want to put Ritu Phogat in because they're still going to try to build her up. Don't make no bones about it. ONE Championship is invested in her, highly invested in her. So they want to build her up. Bozena Antoniar is a good bounce back, confidence builder, tune-up fight, however you wish to call it. That's a good fight for her. For Stamp Fairtex, well, her fight's already decided. She's going to be fighting Angela Lee for the title. We don't know when yet, but that is the fight that is already made. That's the fight that is set. It's just a matter of when. So that one's already made for me. That one's quite easy. So those are my thoughts on this fight. Stamp Fairtex versus Ritu Phogat. Stamp, the Atomweight World Grand Prix winner with quite a finish. Very impressed by this young lady. She continues to grow as a mixed martial artist. We can't just call her a Muay Thai fighter anymore. She is now a full-fledged mixed martial artist and showing a lot of growth in a very short amount of time as well. Anyway, let me know your thoughts on the fight in the comments down below. If you liked the video, please give it a like, share it as well. While you're at it, go ahead and subscribe to WMMA Scene Now, the most complete women's mixed martial arts dedicated platform on YouTube. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.